when I think back to some of the hardest times in my journey, I always think of pretty much like the same similar experiences and scenarios where it's like it's not the points where you're progressing. Obviously it's not the points where you're trying everything, and it feels like you're not moving forward, essentially like the treadmill example as I always give, where you're doing everything, you're running, but you're still in the same place. But truly, I think the hardest times, the absolute hardest times, is when you're trying everything, you're giving it your all, but it feels like you're moving backwards. It feels like you're getting pushed further behind than you currently are. And those times, bro, I think all time worst. And I truly understand, because of those times, why the 1% exists and why the 99% exists. Because I know for a fact that most people will never be able to make it through those times, and they will give up. But the scenario in specific that I remember, bro, is, so I was working at Target, couple years in at this point, bro. Felt like nothing was fucking working whatsoever. I was literally working like $14 an hour. Absolutely dreaded working at this place because it felt like everything I was doing was for no reason. But I had huge amounts of urgency. Never wasted any fucking time because I never wanted to think about having to come here the next day. So I literally, everything I did was like eat, sleep, work on my own shit, and obviously work over there. And so on my breaks, my lunches, watching videos. And then I remember the day. So there was one day where I went straight from work after I got off of my shift, because I was working like the evening shift, I guess you could say. So I would get there at like noon or 2 p.m. And then so I'd either get off at like 8 or 10 p.m. I think at this point I got off at like 9 one day, I believe it was. And I drove straight to my business partner's place. And my business partner was actually living in a really, really nice place, like one of the nicest apartment complexes in my city. And so I would get there, I'd be like, damn, like this shit is nice, like they got the infinity pool, all this stuff, like dope common area where we would hang out. And so we would literally sit there and like around the fireplace working on the business. At the time, I had a clothing brand that we were putting together. And so we would be talking to manufacturers, all this stuff, right? And I remember this day, something fucked up. I think we got like a sample and it was absolutely trash, and we paid obviously, money for it. But then on top of that, that wasn't even the worst part, is we wasted like 4 weeks of time, getting this sample from this fucking manufacturer that we thought was going to be great. Sample came, was absolutely trash. And so that fucked up. And then on top of that, I went home later that night to trade, because I trade. And I trade London session, which is at like 1 a.m. here where I live. And caught some L's. Caught some fucking L's. I actually think this day I don't know if I blew my account or I blew my funded account, or if I failed one of my challenges, either in phase 1 or phase 2. And so this entire day was just shit. Was just absolute shit. Like, it just felt like I was taking so many steps backwards, and I'm fucking having to go to work the next day, and like the mindset now that I have going into fucking work the next day hasn't even fucking started, right? All this shit. And these are the fucking hardest times, let me tell you, because when you're going through it, bro, god damn, I don't even know how I fucking kept going. I don't even know why I fucking kept going, right? Because dude, I'm telling you, most people will not fucking keep going after that shit. It gets hard on this shit. It gets hard in this journey, and nobody talks about it. That is why I make these videos, bro, because that shit right there is tough. It's tough to go through. Putting years of time, years of money, years of resources, energy into something, and it not working, and you're going backwards, and then you gotta go to work the next day. I'm like, what am I doing, bro? What's going on? But that's the excitement of it all, bro. You don't know it, you don't feel it, but when you are in that moment and you can embrace it, that's where the fun is at, to be honest. Like, that's where the fun is at, in that shit, bro. That's where the fun is at. And so that's literally during these times, I believe, is when I started to take the approach of like just winning the day, trying to win the day, and not more so like result driven, where it was like, okay, I gotta have like a winning trading day, or I gotta have my business progressing forward. No. It was like I started to take the approach of like, I just gotta get the tasks done. Whatever the outcomes are, it's okay. But I know if I do this for a long enough time, it will play out. And that's where I was like, okay, if I can win the day, win enough days in the week, and win the week, win enough weeks in the month, win the month, win enough months in the year, can win the year, so forth and so on, right? Because of these times, because when I would wake up the next day, a lot of the times what I would experience is I would be level-headed again. Because that night, holy fuck, is it hard. Like, the day of going through it, bro, like, you truly, like, bro, I remember there was really only 2 emotions that I ever felt in these times. And it was either one being, I actually don't want to sleep, like I can't sleep, because my mind is continuously just running. Gosh. And so you literally, like, you can't sleep. It's just your mind's never at ease. And then the second emotion is all you want to do is sleep. That's it. Like, all you want to do is sleep because you don't want to be here. And I don't want to say that in the way of like, I don't want to be here, like I would kill myself. No, I would never kill myself. But it's almost like you don't care what happens, bro, because you just want to sleep. Like, you're just so down bad. I remember a great example I heard a couple years ago in a video in a podcast I was watching to explain this feeling is like, the gentleman said, he goes, I would never kill myself, but if I was standing at a subway and somebody pushed me in front of the train as it was coming, I wouldn't care. Like, that's the best way for me to explain this emotion. Like, these times are so hard, bro. So hard that nobody talks about. But then always what would happen, thank God, is the next day when I would wake up level-headed, and I would wake up again knowing that I can win the fucking day and kill the day, and that we're back to the grind. And that approach is truly, what got me through all this stuff, man, and got me through those times in specific, and having that purpose, that deep derived purpose of, just this vast amounts of conquering and all these things. And there's so much to this, right? There's so much, there's a lot of factors that are going to contribute, I think, to you never stopping and not giving up, because there's more to it than most people think, right? Than why you do things. But it's just crazy, because when I think about the distinction between the 1% of people and the 99% of people, like, I wholeheartedly understand why the distinction is there. Because there were, think about this, bro. For 2 years long, okay, I was trading. It's like the number one thing that I've really done since the beginning is like trading, right? And it took me 2 years to ever really see like $1 from trading. And I had this conversation with myself a long time ago, because I was thinking about this, and I'm like, I know for a fact that most people that I know, if not all people that I know, except for obviously my successful friends, they can't even go a day's worth of work without wanting to get paid, without getting paid. Like, literally imagine this, bro. Imagine you go to work today, okay? And at the end of your 2 weeks, when your paycheck comes in, you see your hours are missing from your paycheck, the 8 hours that you worked that day, and you're not getting paid for them. How mad are you going to be at your employer, for example, right? How pissed off are you going to be? Like, where's my money, this and that? And that's exactly it. Most people can't even go a single day worth of work without wanting to get paid. And when I think about that, it's like, imagine now going to fucking work for 2 years. 2 fucking years, bro. 2 years. I went 2 years of working without even knowing if I'm gonna fucking get paid or not. 2 years before I saw my first dollar, bro. And that is why most people will never be successful, because they can't go a fucking days without work. Days of work without wanting to get paid, without the gratification and getting the money. They can't. And that is why I know, bro, this path, like, you have to be so strong, bro, mentally. All of this shit, I would say, like, 99% of business is literally just your mind. It's just you and your unwillingness to fucking stop and give up. That's it. You know, I always... There's this concept. It's talking about like certain outcomes and uncertain outcomes, right? Where usually things that are certain, they're not gonna yield you like a high return because they are certain. You know, like if you work in a regular job where your certain hourly rate's $15 an hour, it's like, okay, your outcome is like whatever that times 40 hours a week at the end of the 2 weeks is, that's how much you're gonna get paid. And then you have uncertain outcome and uncertainty, where you're not going to get paid maybe any dollars an hour, but you work in sales. If you close a deal, so forth, and then so that uncertain outcome can yield you something very high because it is uncertain, right? And that's the thing. It's like most people don't have the faith, they don't have the vision, they don't have the willpower, they don't have the purpose within them, and they just maybe they haven't developed it yet or whatever. And that's why they're not willing to go the uncertain route. But there's so much to this, bro. There's so much more to this, because, you know, when I think about those hard times, where, you know, you feel like giving up, where it doesn't really get any worse than that, to be honest. It probably does. But it's like, for me, bro, what else is there for me to be doing? What else? What else am I going to do, bro? I don't know what it is, but the way I am hardwired, I can't live a normal life, bro. When I think of like the normal shit normal people do, I don't know how they do it. I genuinely don't know how they do it, because I will have like this crippling boredom that I am not like working towards something, or that I am not like, there's no excitement in what I'm doing, and I will just be literally like so fucking depressed. Like so bored, because I like it seems like I'm not actively conquering something. And that's why I always say you have to have something you are consistently conquering and like moving towards, because otherwise, like, dude, I don't see a purpose in like, what the fuck, like anything. And that's why it's like you just have to embrace those emotions, bro, because those, like, that's the fun. As crazy as this sounds, you may not know it if you're going through it right now, but like, that's where the fun in all of this is those moments. Those moments, that's the fun, bro. Like, that's literally the shit, and then the good and the bad, like, that's the only reason the good is the good. Like, those are the fun times. Like, that's this, I don't know how to explain this, but like, that is what makes this all worth it. That is like the life right there. Life isn't the good. The good is boring, believe me, bro. When I came to some money, and then I had massive levels of freedom where I could work like an hour a day, if that. Obviously, you're working 24/7, but I mean like sit down work, hour a day. Bro, I was fucking bored for a very long time. I was so bored for a very long time, because it felt like I wasn't doing enough. It felt like, all right, I didn't have boys. That's exactly why I've put together like my brotherhood, Masculine Money Men. Shameless plug. DM me on Instagram, links in the description if you want to join. Get your fucking life together, discipline, mentality, and fucking building your brand. Because like, when I was by myself and I was making money, like, dude, it was just so fucking bored. Like, literally bored out of my mind. And not in the ways of like doing bored work, you know, like, I love bored work, don't get me wrong, like just sitting there and getting work done is the best, but more so bored in like bro, like, I'm doing nothing. Like, I'm doing nothing. Like, there's not even anything for me to necessarily even look forward to. And that's why I always knew it wasn't the fucking money that I was ever after. It wasn't. And then it wasn't the freedom either, because I got the freedom. I was like, what the fuck? I'm fucking bored. I got the freedom. It's more than that, bro. It's more than all of that. It's taking care of people. It's my little brother. It's the boys. Fucking helping the boys. It's, you know, all of that. All of that. So much more to it. But these lessons took years and years, and going through that bullshit and learning this and failing, because I had nobody to really look up to until I got mentors. But that took me years to understand of what even really a mentor is. There were groups that I joined really early on, but I still didn't really understand it at all. But it's a beautiful journey, man. And you have to learn how to embrace all of this. You have to learn how to never really stop. And there's so many factors, as I said, that really come together in you not stopping. Like, one of the great ones that I can give to you is seeing things in real life, you know, where you do have belief systems break, but more so like having real life friendships where you have people that are very successful around you, because your environment does dictate everything. And so for me, you know, luckily, because I've built my brand, you know, this is why I always say there's so much importance to you building your brand. I've gone viral many times, many fucking times. Like, it's honestly retarded at this point, where like because of these videos, people have been clipping up these videos and putting them in like very motivational like TikToks. Those have blown up where I get recognized in person. Okay. And the best way for me to put this into perspective is, like, think about the people that are watching these kinds of videos. Okay. It's going to be very different, somebody watching this video compared to somebody watching like a Mr. Beast video, right? Usually people watching this kind of content, motivational like content that I'm getting clipped into, and those videos going very, very well viral. Some of them have like 1 million plus likes. I'm like, damn, your boy is famous once again. I'm joking. But you meet some pretty heavy hitters in the real world. And I've been very lucky, because there was a long time where I didn't network. There was a long time where I wasn't building a brotherhood. There was a long time where I wasn't necessarily really hanging out with my little brother, because he was like, not too little, but he was, yeah, I mean, it kind of was that. He was too little in a way, where he was like 14, you know, playing Fortnite. I'm playing Call of Duty, but we're not really close. We haven't really like grown up together, or not grown up together. We're growing up together, but not like, you know, entering like, oh shit, like we need to lock in, you know? And so very long time did I not network with anybody, did I not necessarily talk to anybody. It was just me in my fucking room, just me working, just me on my laptop, day in and day out. And until I really started to see success in the real world, did it, you know, even blow my mind even more, bro. Because, you know, you see success online all the time. My fucking YouTube, my Instagram, full of just people that I wanted to be like, that I could learn from. That was my friend group, as I like to say. Like, I built my circle based off of just people that I could learn from. You know, Iman, many people like that, for example. You know, back then, like a bunch of trading gurus, all those kind of people I just watched day in and day out, right? And so then what happened is I started to meet these people in the real world, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, I remember one of my boys in specific, so he does like six figure swing in his crypto portfolio every single month, which is crazy. He has like a direct deposit every day that he just deposits like $1,000 at the same exact time into his crypto portfolio. He said that. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, this guy is fucking depositing more money in his crypto wallet than I make in a whole month. Like, these kinds of things that, and you're seeing them in real time in the real world. And then, you know, he pulls out his computer, his company. He's like, yeah, look at these, you know, this month with like this amount of bookings, we did like 96,000, in a single month, $100,000, six figures in a month. And, you know, you just see these things and all of this stuff, right? That I have other friends that fucking are doing like $3 million in 3 months. And then one of my other boys that I fucking met, what a G, man. He makes like 20K a month. He works a sales position plus commission. And he works like an hour a day, bro. Sometimes he don't even fucking work for a couple weeks. He's in Dubai, Miami, here in Utah, and it's just crazy. But you see all of this shit in the real world. Once I saw, like, in the beginning of really building these relationships, and it just it sparks more, right? And then you realize like the friendships that you're building and the environment that you're in and the people that you're around, and then you're catching that momentum, and again, you're more belief systems, more influence, more confirmation as to why you are consistently building all these things. Like there's a lot that will happen and that you can do to play, I always like to say, life to your advantage instead of your disadvantage, to make sure that you don't stop. But at its core, it does come from within, bro. And all these things will help you within, but you have to just have this ungodly like will to never stop, in faith, bro, that this is going to play out, even as uncertain as it is, that it will play out as long as you don't stop. As long as you don't stop, it will happen, and you give it your all. So, yeah, boys, it's well, hopefully you guys took something valuable from this video, man. To be honest, I feel like I kind of just yapped for 20 minutes. But that's what the channel's about. We just yapping it up in here, man. So, boys, as usual, man, I love each and every single one of you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really want to briefly touch on, because it looks like this video is already 20 minutes long. I don't think so. We upload pretty consistently. At least we did. We're going to start again. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the fucking comment section and we'll make sure to answer them. But love you boys as always, and we'll see you guys in the next video.